Ever heard of a guy who quietly overtook Bill Gates and Warren Buffett to become the world's richest person? Yet most people today barely remember his name. This isn't a character from a movie. This is the real-life story of Carlos Slim Helú, the Warren Buffett of Mexico. The business titan who once controlled a staggering 7% of Mexico's entire GDP. How did a shopkeeper's son from Mexico City build a colossal empire that stretched from telephone lines to the New York Times? And why has his name faded from the global spotlight? Get ready, because we're about to uncover the incredible story of the richest man you've forgotten. Carlos Slim's story begins not in a boardroom, but in a small dry goods store in Mexico City. His parents, Julian Slim Haddad and Linda Helú Atta, were Lebanese immigrants who arrived in Mexico in the early 1900s. His father, Julian, was a natural entrepreneur. He didn't just run a store. He taught his children the fundamentals of business from a young age. Imagine this. At just 12 years old, while other kids were playing, a young Carlos was buying his first government savings bond. His father gave each of his children a ledger book to meticulously track every peso they earned and spent. This wasn't just about saving money. It was a masterclass in financial literacy, teaching Carlos the power of compound interest, the importance of living below your means, and how to spot value where others saw none. These early lessons, rooted in a culture of hard work and financial prudence, became the bedrock of his entire philosophy. He learned to think like an investor before he was even a teenager. While studying civil engineering at the National Autonomous University of Mexico, Slim was already a player in the Mexican stock market. He was simultaneously a student and a professor, teaching algebra and linear programming while honing his own investment strategies. After graduating, he didn't join a big firm. Instead, he started his own. In 1965, he founded Inversora Bursátil, a stock brokerage. This was the seed from which his vast empire would grow. He named his holding company Grupo Carso, a clever portmanteau of his own name, Carlos, and the name of his beloved wife, Sumaya Domit. It was a symbol that family and business were intrinsically linked. The 1980s were a turbulent time for Mexico. The country was drowning in debt, and a massive financial crisis sent foreign investors fleeing. Panic was in the air. But while others saw crisis, Carlos Slim saw the sale of a lifetime. This was his moment. Guided by the principle he learned from his father, to invest when there's blood in the streets, he went on an acquisition spree. He bought up struggling companies in mining, retail, tobacco, and more, often for pennies on the dollar. He wasn't just buying assets. He was buying the future of Mexico at a steep discount. He acquired the cigarette maker Chigatam, the retail giant Sanborns, and mining company Minera Frisco. Each purchase was a calculated bet, a piece of a much larger puzzle he was assembling. He wasn't a gambler. He was a value investor with nerves of steel, accumulating a diverse portfolio that would insulate him from risk and position him for explosive growth when the economy inevitably recovered. Then came the deal that would catapult him into the stratosphere of global wealth. In 1990, the Mexican government decided to privatize its sluggish, state-run telecommunications monopoly, Teléfonos de México, or Telmex. It was a monumental opportunity. Slim, leading a consortium that included Southwestern Bell and France Telecom, placed the winning bid. Critics were skeptical. Telmex was inefficient and outdated, but Slim saw a golden goose. He understood that in the modern world, connectivity is not a luxury, it's a necessity. He poured billions into upgrading the network, expanding coverage, and ruthlessly cutting costs. The move was pure genius. He had acquired a de facto monopoly and was now positioned to control the communication backbone of an entire nation. The Telmex acquisition was just the beginning of his telecom dominance. From Telmex, he spun off a new company, Móvil. This would be his vehicle for continental conquest. While other telecom giants were focused on Europe and the US, Móvil swept across Latin America, acquiring licenses and competitors from Brazil to Colombia. He brought mobile phone service to millions of people for the first time, recognizing that the cell phone would become the central device in people's lives. By offering affordable prepaid plans, he unlocked a massive, untapped market. América Móvil grew into one of the largest mobile network operators in the world, a cash-generating machine that fueled his ascent to the top. By 2010, the unthinkable happened. The son of a Lebanese shopkeeper from Mexico City was officially declared the richest person on the planet, surpassing Bill Gates. He held the title for 4 consecutive years. His wealth wasn't just from telecom. His holding company, Grupo Carso, was a sprawling conglomerate with interests in almost every sector imaginable. He owned department stores, construction companies, banks, and mining operations. He became the largest single shareholder in the New York Times, propping up the venerable newspaper with a crucial loan during the financial crisis. He even had a stake in the high-end retailer Saks Fifth Avenue. His strategy was simple but brilliant. Buy into essential industries, operate them with extreme efficiency, and collect the dividends. His empire wasn't built on flashy tech innovations, but on the steady, reliable flow of cash from the fundamental building blocks of a modern economy. He owned the pipes, the stores, the banks, the very infrastructure of daily life for millions. So, how does a man who controlled so much wealth operate? Unlike many billionaires, Slim isn't known for a lavish lifestyle. He has lived in the same modest 6-bedroom house for over 40 years, just a few blocks from his office. He doesn't own yachts or private islands. His greatest luxury, he has said, is being able to live without the fear of what the future holds. He famously doesn't use a computer, preferring to keep all his financial data in meticulously kept notebooks, a habit ingrained in him since childhood. He manages his empire through his incredible memory and a tight circle of trusted executives, including his 3 sons, who now run the day-to-day operations of his companies. This transition of power was carefully planned, ensuring the continuity of the family dynasty. As his wealth grew, so did scrutiny. Critics argued his dominance, particularly in telecom, stifled competition and led to high prices for Mexican consumers. They labeled him a monopolist who benefited from cozy relationships with the government. Slim, however, sees himself as a wealth creator, not an owner. He often says, "Wealth is like an orchard. You have to share the fruit, not the trees." This philosophy shapes his approach to philanthropy. Instead of simply giving away his fortune, he focuses on solving problems through his foundations, the Carlos Slim Foundation and the Telmex Foundation. These organizations have invested billions in health, education, and sports programs across Latin America. They've funded everything from digital education platforms to surgeries for the underprivileged, and have helped preserve priceless art and cultural sites. His goal isn't just to donate, but to create sustainable systems that empower people to improve their own lives. Today, Carlos Slim is no longer the world's richest man, but his legacy is undeniable. He is a testament to the power of long-term vision, disciplined investing, and seizing opportunity when others are paralyzed by fear. He showed the world that incredible wealth could be built outside of Silicon Valley or Wall Street, right in the heart of the developing world. His story is a complex tapestry of shrewd business acumen, controversy, and a deep-seated commitment to his home country. He built the infrastructure that connects a continent, and in doing so, forever changed the economic landscape of Latin America. The name Carlos Slim may have faded from the headlines, but the empire he built and its impact on millions of lives is as powerful as ever. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think of Carlos Slim's strategy? Is he a brilliant investor or a ruthless monopolist? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about the titans who shape our world. We'll see you in the next one.